The answer is no, but we're not done yet. Here's the response.
Because we kill him.
This is the last horseman. Who is this?
This is Flaming Dragon!
Okay, Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia, Jack, is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
All right, good morning, guys. I hope you're having a good day today. It's going to be a fun one, I think. So, hey, guys, watch out. So, China buys nothing from us, but I found out that they just implemented increased tariffs against the United States. They buy none of our goods, but now they're tariffing the shit out of them. So, watch out. They have the upper hand. It's going to be a fun one today. We got CNN Fear and Greed Index sitting at 3. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about the 104% tariffs against China that are now in effect. We're going to talk about the 80 whatever percent tariffs that are in effect against us. We're going to talk about the fact that trade has drastically slowed down between China and the United States and really a lot of the world. We're going to talk about how Temu is dead. That's officially over. De minimis took care of that. We're going to talk about why are bonds going up. I posted about this yesterday. Maybe people missed it, but it could be a couple of different things. We could see China selling our bonds. We could see hedge funds having to unwind. It could be a combination of both. We're not sure. We're going to be talking about why inflation from these increased tariffs with China is really going to be a nothing burger. And we're going to talk about how Elon said, do not panic. Okay? There's a lot more to talk about. I'll try and get caught up with chat here in a second, but yeah, let me just look here. Could TLT be dipping because of some basis trade? Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was just saying a second ago. So it could be hedge funds unwinding. It could be China selling bonds. It could be both. It's definitely, I think it's China selling bonds. I think it's an attack or maybe them working to try and get it to where they could get a hedge fund to unwind. I don't think it matters either way, though. I really don't think it matters. Somebody asked if I'm buying TLT. Not now. Would I? Maybe. Also, real quickly, on that vein of thought, I do want to mention something. So if we look at TLT over here, so I heard people saying that the 10-year was absolutely exploding higher. I want to show you what exploding higher looks like, okay? Let's look at the weekly here. And don't get me wrong, it has went up a lot. But actually the monthly is probably a better view. Let's just look at what exploding higher looks like on the 10-year. This is exploding higher. This is exploding higher. This is exploding higher. This is exploding higher. I'm not going to give this the luxury of saying exploding higher. And I probably spoke too quickly earlier. Would I be interested in buying some TLT? Calls again. Maybe I might actually be. I'll probably let it dip a little bit though and let some other things fly. But I might. So I don't want to discount anything too quickly. I might end up buying into that dip. I did sell aggressively though when I realized that they were probably dumping yesterday morning, and then I posted about it right away. So if you're a member on X or trading or Discord, you saw those things or should have. The only thing I'm bullish on right now are tariffs, but that's perfect though. So it's perfect that you feel that way. It's perfect that most people feel that way. That's actually the shit I thrive off of. I love to see people. I mean, I don't love to see it. That sounds sadistic, but I'm okay with people being frightened. And I get it, right? Like this is pre-market right here. Let's go back a little bit though. Let's see what's the last week look like. Well, unless you own United Healthcare, that poor CEO. The CEO gets murdered and the stock goes up. Whatever. That is the one, right? Anyway, keep going. So if you've been looking around the last week, maybe been a little bit painful, right? Last month, not much better. So, and really quarter to date, let's go year to date. Let's go year to date. You got some mixed results. Not everything's falling off a cliff. Maybe if you own Apple, you're not super happy. Down 31%. Guys, I'm interested in NVIDIA again. What the fuck? I am. I'm not going to lie. Why am I interested in NVIDIA? Because when I look at NVIDIA, it's got a forward PE of 21. That is an insane number to me when compared to the rest of the tech sector and some of the things that we're looking at. So let me just go back over here. So I don't know. I'm interested in NVIDIA. And again, it's went down a lot, 29% year to date on NVIDIA, 30% on Apple. Fuck Apple. Outside of their amazing laptops. I love those so much. Google, Microsoft, Meta, like everything's been hit pretty good. Amazon, I think Amazon should be hit more. Jesse, do you see recovering anytime soon? I think today. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm probably putting at least $100,000 to $250,000 to work today. I might put $400,000 to work today. So I'm actually really excited about where we are. There's so much positive data, but let's get started on the tariff front and just getting current. Yeah, today, literally today. When I say that, I'm not kidding. Yeah, exactly. Craig Fuller. So yeah, if I put $400,000 to work, you'll know it was today. And did you guys what did Meet Kevin was talking about me? Was it good? Was it bad? Very, very intrigued by that. I have not always been complimentary of Meet Kevin. I do like the guy. I just thought he took like a really weird political shift. Maybe he thinks that of me. If he even knows who I am. Craig Fuller. Trump just nuked Temu and Shein. Why is this a big deal? Because these guys, I've got friends. I've got this friend, Jessica. She loves Temu. She's probably going to cry today. But they buy all this cheap shit off these stupid fucking apps, right? They buy all this shit. And it all breaks and it's just garbage and it probably is like radioactive and whatever. But they buy it nonetheless. Well, we've destroyed that. De minimis destroyed that. If you look here, the de minimis tariff increase is now going to be causing these international packages to be 90% or $75 an item, whereas before they slipped through and they could just flood the market with cheap shit that was heavily subsidized by the CCP, and they could crush all of our manufacturers trying to produce any cheap shit, or anybody in Europe, right? They could do all these things and just crush us. We have closed that loophole. They are done. These companies are literally bankrupt. Is Temu a tradable, publicly traded stock? Can you guys tell me if that's true? If it is, I need to short the fuck out of that stock right now because it is over. Game over. And I normally don't like to short Chinese stocks, but I know that one's going to die so quickly that it might be okay. It might be okay. All right, here, we need to listen. Trump last night. I think this is like the time where they make jokes and stuff. I hope so, because some of the stuff he said about Chuck Schumer, painful. Anyway, let's listen here, 26 seconds.
But we're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals.
PDD? Oh, my God, I can't.
Once we do that, they're going to come rushing back into our country because we're the big market. The advantage we have over everybody is that we're the big market. So we're going to be announcing
BTC is so close to pumping, guys.
Very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals. And when they hear that, they will leave China, they will leave other places because they have to sell. Most of their product is sold here. But we're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. So, we're going to tariff these motherfuckers. And Batya, my favorite Jew. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a list of Jews. I'm not a Nazi. But I love this lady so much. So let's just listen to what she has to say about Americans, Trump, and the tariffs, because I think it's very insightful. And she's a brilliant lady. And she's kind of cute. I don't know. Don't tell my wife.
Do you know what is so amazing about this whole tariffs saga? The Americans who have the least are willing to say, you know what? Maybe I don't need that extra piece of crap from China. Maybe I'm going to make a little bit less in my 401k if it means that my children have a future. And meanwhile, you look at Wall Street, where people who are losing, yes, a lot of money, but who will, let's be honest, never be poor. In fact, they will never not be rich, no matter how this ends. And they are unwilling to donate a single penny to the future of this nation. It's so utterly backwards. It used to be that the rich had a sense of noblesse oblige. You know what? Maybe we should build a hospital, if only so the peasants don't revolt. But in America, we have this enormous class divide where the top 10% controls over 60% of the GDP and is unwilling to pay a little bit more for the next brand new iPhone, even if it means that their working class neighbors can afford to buy a home. I mean, it is so repulsive.
Okay. You know what Batya this said to Jeff Bezos and all these rich liberal fucks? Fuck you. And that goes for all the rhinos too. All the people that care more about, and don't get me wrong, if you've lost a lot of money over this year today, I mean, I get the pain and the suffering. I totally get it. I lost a decent chunk too. It's all right. But there is a greater good that needs to be met here. And it's this bottom 40 to 60% of America that struggles all the fucking time just to survive with no hope, with not being able to have a one-person working household in order to have fucking kids and to have a future, okay? And they deserve that. They deserve to have opportunity. You wonder why the fertility rate's going down around the world? Maybe it's because the governments have stolen everything from these people, from generations of people, and they deserve to have it back again. And again, I've already shown you guys, what history says about the Great Depression. We already know that, right? We already know the Tariff Acts of 1930 and 1934. We already know enough about what happened in the 1830s when we had similar tariffs. These are different. These are meant to isolate and alienate China and then also reduce trade barriers with the rest of the world. And it's working. And we're helping the people that have begged for it. The people that are on fentanyl and all kinds of fucking drugs because they have no hope. We need to serve them. And yes, I wore red. It's red. I don't know how much you can see it. I wore that just to kind of be a counter of what I was expecting today. And because I'm just in a good mood. I'm in a really good mood. I'm happy. I don't know if you guys realize this about me, but it is when everything is falling apart that I have the most fun, that I feel the most engaged and the most alive, okay? It's when things are at their worst that we have an opportunity to be at our best. And I'm certainly going to try and do that. Let's keep going. Terrible tariff policies execution. Akash, that's just fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It's exactly what we should be doing, and I'll be showing something in a second that'll explain that. JT, not that you're stupid. You're just being stupid. I still like you. JT, Victor, what's up, buddy? Make sure to save up for investments. I'm actually going to be spending a bunch of money today. The opposite of that. Danny, Besant was just asked about removing Chinese stocks from U.S. exchanges on Fox. He said everything is, yeah, bro, we need to get rid of that shit. Get ready to dump all those things, guys. Well, now I do actually kind of hate that for a second because I wanted to short Temu. Maybe I could do a real quick short with a little bit of money. I'll try and, we'll see. Careful, Jesse. You might get terrified on these muscles. Oh, babe, you know it. I should call you babe, Woody. All right. Anyway, hey, well, didn't expect to become a TLT bag holder, laughing my ass off, but here we are. Sorry, man. I jumped out, but I got to say, if it goes up a decent amount more with the bonds, if they get really weird, I probably will jump back in. Jason, thank you for becoming a member. Did anybody ever tell me what happened with Meet Kevin? Meet Kevin supposedly was talking about me. You have me more than curious. Enema. I'm almost up 100% in both my accounts combined since Thursday. When the sell-off started, I've been yelling this from the rooftops. They're dumping the shit out of the market. More pain coming. Okay. Hey, good for you, man. I'm happy for you. I hope it continues to work out. I'm very excited about where we're at right now. All right, real quickly. So I wanted to talk about this. This is talking about farmers and what China has been doing with farmers and their seed. Again, they specialize in seed so that, Jesse, you've been working out. Hide those guns. No, I haven't been working out enough, but thank you. But anyway, I'll let him talk about it. Let's go.
They have no interest in protecting our intellectual property. We had a situation on our farm and other farms throughout the Midwest where we're producing seeds, in our case for Bayer. Chinese nationals that were coming out at night, digging up the pure parent lines of the seed that we was producing on our farm, only to be taken to Chicago O'Hare, put in a warehouse, and then shipped back to China. They think that's perfectly fine. Well, it's not fine. There's hundreds of millions of dollars go into research to develop these new products and to produce and take it to the marketplace. But yet the Chinese captured that, the value of that, and stole it from the United States. They have no interest in protecting.
So again, stealing intellectual property, kind of a theme with China. Also, let's just see, what has China done since they were included in the World Trade Organization because of our buddy Bill Clinton? Let's just look. Top exporter to the world, USA, 1990, 175 countries. China had 8. 2000, 155. China has 15. 2010, 85, 55. Maybe that should have been a wake-up call. 2024, 35, 125. Now, the strength that they've gained in exports is also the thing that's killing them and will kill them. And I honestly, my base case is that Xi Jinping is going to be overthrown at some point. So let's listen real quickly. This is more stuff from last night from Trump. Let's just listen to what he has to say.
That's why additional tariffs on Chinese goods are in place effective midnight tonight.
Shanghai is the only green I see.
At 104%. Until they make a deal with us, that's what it's going to be. I think they'll make a deal at some point. China will.
I brought more Mara calls. Yeah, my target price for Mara. Let's see here. I'd probably sell at like 25. Like I might sell off little tiny bits along the way just to de-risk because that's what I always do. But I'd say probably like 25 is where I start to sell, maybe in larger chunks. That's about 150% from here, roughly. I'd have to readjust some of these things real quickly. It looks like we're right down here. Or I'm sorry, that's 232. So that's back to the previous high. But again, there's dilution here too, so you have to think about all those things. But yeah, so once we got up to here, I mean, this is going to be the key resistance right up here. So I'd say maybe like lower 20s to 25 I'd start selling. And I don't know. I still think there's the potential for 80s. I know that sounds absolutely absurd, but I don't think people realize. I'm reading this new book. It's called The Big Print. It's so good. It's so good. I'm adding it to my Bitcoin collection with Saifedean, who's now like, I don't know, not my favorite guy. And then Lynn Alden, Unbroken Money. I'm adding this one on that list. It's so good. If you want inspiration, guys, read The Big Print. It's beautiful. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. But yeah, so I bought more Mara. I'm trying to buy more. I think I bought more Clean Spark. I bought a little bit of MSTX, some TSLL yesterday, just little nibbles, and looking to do a lot more today. Again, I'm looking maybe to apply up to 400,000 in capital. I really hope we bleed. That's my hope. I really want to see blood. I'm hoping just headlines get fucking crazy today for some stupid shit.
They want to make a deal. They really do. They want to make a deal. They
That's why
just
I'm wearing
don't
the
know how to
shirt.
get
I'm
it
trying to
sold.
manifest it.
Because they're proud people. China will now pay a big number to our treasury.
I think we're seeing the bottom. Could we roll over again? Sure. And will I maybe sell a little bit and take some off to gather more of a cash position? Sure.
Is all taxes, and don't let them keep telling you that this is a tax on our people. I hate that. You know, they say it's a tax. No, often much of it is paid. And hey, look what happened during my first term. We had no inflation, and yet I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China. No other president got 10 cents in tariffs or taxes from China. I got hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions of dollars. And I still got along with them.
Just wait.
Because they understood what they were doing was wrong. They understood.
Oh, he'll cut in May.
It's when you explain it, they sit up, they say.
Before
I've
May.
had numerous leaders tell me, "You're right, sir. I was waiting for you to bring this up." Because some of the trade deals that were made by predecessors as president were so bad, you almost wonder who did these deals. They were either crooked or stupid. There can be nothing else. They were either stupid or crooked. It's terrible, but it's all being changed. I changed a lot of it in the first 4 years.
Yes, there's so much stupidity in tariffs. Let's just talk about this for a second. So yes, the end consumer does pay the tariff if they're stupid enough to buy shit that's 104% more expensive than it was a week ago. Yeah, if you're a fucking moron or have way too much money, like the rich people that Bata was talking about earlier, if you have too much money or you're fucking stupid, you will have an increase on your spending, right? But if you're neither of those things, you know what will happen? You'll start to be more strategic on how you spend your money. If you can avoid it, you'll be like, do I want to buy the Chinese thing or do I want to buy the American good that's cheaper, probably better quality, and again, there's a bunch, and we're going to listen to other videos here in a little bit, talking about, do I think CleanSpark can get to 20? I think it could get well beyond 20. I think it could do 40. I think it could do 30. So 40 is my peak target. 32 is kind of like my mid, and then maybe 25 is my low. But yeah, so I'm going to show you a bunch of videos talking about how literally there are companies waiting on the sidelines that are like, oh my God, this is great. We can be competitive again. Now that you've got rid of de minimis, we can be competitive in a global market with all these other goods that we pretty much got destroyed on. So we can ramp that up quickly and we can start selling. And then you have these companies starting to make money in this country. And then you have Trump, who's also trying to get it to where this blows my fucking mind that this hasn't already happened. Trump's like, hey, we're not going to take the 0%. We're not listening to Pocahontas. She's a dumb bitch. But Trump said, we're not taking the 0% tariffs from the EU. And you know why he said that? Because he wants them to buy our energy. And here's the crazy part. It makes sense for them to do it, to buy more LNG gas from the United States. Why does it make sense to do that? Because they're buying it from fucking Russia, and they're spending just about as much on Russian energy as they are to fuel the war in Ukraine. So why not take the money away from Russia so you have to spend less on your defense and less on defending Ukraine? It makes sense. And so Trump is pushing a heavy hand to make that happen. He's trying to close deals that are in the best interest of them and us. And it makes sense. Meet Kevin, the 503 mark. What did he say, though? Do you guys have what he said? He wants to buy gas from the U.S., just the gasifiers. We're not ready yet. They're ready by the end of this year. That's all. Well, that's great. Let's set that up. Let's set up the contract to do that, right? Let's set up a contract that says that that's happening by the end of the year. Let's get a commitment. Let's get goals and goalposts. And then if those goals aren't met in a timely fashion, then there's a threat of reapplying tariffs. But let's get some stuff on the board. It 100% makes sense to do that, right? And we want to help them, and we want to help us, and we want to hurt Russia because we want Putin to stop bombing the shit out of Ukrainian people and doing fucking horrible things. He's not a good guy. He's a murderous dictator, okay? And who knows? Maybe Zelensky isn't that far removed from him. There's definitely massive corruption in Ukraine. There has been for decades. I don't know. I don't care. I want the war to end because it's pointless. And if Russia loses their oil and Ukraine is in a better position to negotiate back some of their territory, fucking great. I don't care how it ends. I want it to end. MB, why would Trump need tariffs to buy gas from the U.S. if we're rebuilding gasifiers? Because he wants to force commitment in order to have contractual obligations to purchase our energy so that we can get people to build out our energy infrastructure more because of those contracts. It's called business. All right, yeah, post the video or just, what did he say? I'm just curious. What did the guy say? Anyway, let's keep going. So Seth Golden said, if it's the worst is yet to come via China, remember that retaliation can take on the following forms. Devaluing the yuan. Yep, that can happen. That's a horrible idea for them because it creates inflation and their people are on the edge of a depression. Sell U.S. debt. That's another horrible idea. It actually strengthens their yuan. It does the exact opposite of that. So they have to do one or the other. It can't be both. Otherwise, it's like neutral. And it doesn't really do anything. Flood PBOC, the People's Bank of China, domestic liquidity. They can do that, but they got to print money to do it. So we're again, if we're printing a bunch of money, what's going to happen? Bitcoin go up. Heighten Taiwan provocations. I mean, they can do the only way they can heighten those provocations, since they literally put like 80 warships and fly around with jets and do all this stuff like every other fucking day would be to invade. So is that an option? Yes, it is. You were wrong on Russell 2000, basically, but was saying some people take his positions in a bad way or something like that. Oh, okay. So, all right. I'm wrong on stuff. Guys, I'm sorry if you didn't already know that. Sometimes I am not perfect. And yes, Trump's tariffs are very powerful, and they basically made it to where the U.S. got crushed, and especially interest rate sensitive portions of the economy got crushed. You know what I love, though? You know what I love? I love that Meet Kevin knows who I am. Meet Kevin. Hey, buddy, if you're watching the show, feel free to come on here sometime. We can debate, okay? That would actually probably boost my numbers a lot. I'm down. Let's do it. But just make sure you don't have too many bananas or whatever the fuck. What did he get drunk off that one time? I can't remember. Maybe chat, you let me know. But I hope you're doing well. I never watch your show anymore, mainly because you just turned into a political hack. You might think that of me, but it is not true. I'm just on the right side of history. All right, let's go here. Miners are interest rate sensitive. Sure. Yeah. Does that explain why they went down 70%? Maybe they're risk on, and that caused them to go down like 70 fucking plus percent, depending upon the miner that you're talking about. Possible. Definitely possible. All right, let's listen real quickly to Pompliano talking to Natalie Brunell about tariffs.
We have to do something different. And so I think my message...
Oh, yeah, my bad. Carrots. He gets drunk off carrots. That's true. And then he talks about his wife like a sap and a bunch of shit that none of us want to hear. But seriously, though, I do actually like you, Kevin. I do like you. I just think you're really fucking lost when it comes to investing right now. Probably why your fund failed. And you could do a better job, like not abandoning Tesla, a company that made a lot of your wealth for you on top of real estate.
To the credit,
because they've only gotten better. Did you realize that, Kevin? That period of time where you made 30x or whatever it was. They're a much better company today than they were then. So maybe you should let the facts guide your judgment. I would love that. Me, Kevin versus Jesse. I got the bigger muscles, so bring it on. Bring it on.
Critics of the tariffs is very simple. Okay, you may be right. I don't know, right? You may be right. This is the best plan I heard so far. What's a better plan? And some people will say, well, I like the tariff idea, but the rollout could have been better. Agreed. The shock and awe is very painful, but it's kind of the point. But still, it's very painful. The communication could have been better. Well, kind of hard to negotiate if you're telling everyone your strategy, right? But I think those are fair critiques. But I'm very hard pressed to find people who are I have this better plan that we should implement. Usually it is stay the course, or I see what we're doing. Stanley Druckenmiller recently, this is the lesser of two evils, but I wish it had been, 10% instead of these big numbers, whatever. So I think people kind of get the fact that we got to do something different. There's just not that many options, right? And frankly, in my opinion, doing something is better than just being screw it, we're all screwed. And, we have to do.
Yeah, I don't know why Meet Kevin is on Ross Gerber's nuts. I really don't get it. Ross Gerber is way the fuck out there. And it sounds like Dan Ives is way the fuck out there. We'll watch a video about that. All right, so a couple things real quick. So this video, in this, he says, hey guys, all you bitches out there complaining about Trump, what is the resolution to the problems that we have with China? A country that's literally trying to dominate us and been successful at taking over our manufacturing sector, and then they want to go to war with us. They want to go to war with the South China Sea. They want to take Japan. They hate Japanese people. They hate them. They've taught hate against them since the last World War, okay? And they want to take over Korea. They want to take over Taiwan. They want to take over the Philippines. They want to take over Thailand. They want to take over Vietnam. They already had a military coup in Myanmar to take over the previous democratically elected leader, who's in prison still. She's still in prison. And they want all of it. They want all of it. So what are your fucking solutions, all you smart people who bitch about Donald Trump? And again, what Pomp was saying in here is that the aggressiveness, the speed, all of these things, they're not just him at a whim pushing these things out. It's purposeful. It is how you negotiate with power and strength. Look throughout history if you don't fucking know this. No, not Taiwan, says JT, who's in Taiwan. Now, MB said, given that Bessent's plan on TLT has failed, he didn't have a plan on TLT. He had a plan to lower bond yields. He could still do that with ease at any point. He can do that by pushing the Fed's hand and forcing them to do emergency cuts because of something broke in the system. That just turns on the money printer. That fires up our Bitcoins. That'll have a lot of positive ramifications for commodity-related investments, potentially. But if we have a slowing economy, you can't jump into oil. That's not gonna help you. Oil right now is at 55.96. Now, I might have been wrong on the Russell, Kevin, but you know what I wasn't wrong on? This. Remember this, guys? Remember how I told you, hey guys, we got a measured move here. We got this descending triangle. It's gonna break down. It's gonna break down hard. And I had people today. I just laughed at this. A couple of these guys, they're more liberal in nature, so I'll let it go. But they're like, Jesse, I heard companies are going to go bankrupt if oil is under $50 a barrel. You know what I have to say about that? What the fuck was this? Who fucking cares? There were a lot that went bankrupt here, right? Remember when oil contracts, guys, went down to here? And 1 cent? Remember that? During the pandemic? Remember that? There were some that went bankrupt. It's called consolidation. Welcome to fucking capitalism, brother. If you could do things better, if you can do them cheaper, you win. If you've got more capital, you win. Welcome to America. This is what we do. And again, I don't think us dipping down into the 40s and 30s for a little while is going to end America. I'm just going to say that based upon, all of 2016 and 17, part of 2018. And then all of 2020, I'm just going to say it based on that. So you guys believe what you want to believe. If you want to tell yourself that oil going down is bad for America, you tell yourself whatever the fuck you want, okay? It's not my problem. Not my problem. Let's keep going. But yeah, so the bond thing isn't an issue. We can fix it. And yes, having Japan buy our bonds, good stuff, right? Doing bit bonds, brilliant stuff. I love that idea. I'm hoping to see that soon too. There's a lot of things we can do, but I might enter that TLT trade again. I'm not going to lie. The problem is the longer end of the curve does not move as dramatically as the 2-year and the 10-year. So I might reinvent that trade in my head in a different way. We'll see. Also, Nick Bhatia, who I love. If you guys remember this guy, he literally comes from the bond world. He is a founder of the Bitcoin Layer, author of Bitcoin Age and Layered Money. I haven't read his book yet. I feel like I should do that. He's an adjunct professor at finance at USC Marshall. And he comes from some of this world, right? But he talked about the speech with Stephen Moran. Stephen is one of the brilliant people. Let's just pull him up here. Here's his credentials right now. He's the chairman of Council of Economic Advisors for Donald Trump right now. And he is the person who came up with the plan that we are implementing right now. The plan that says the country that has the strength is the one that has the trade deficit, because China has all this capacity built out and they have nowhere for it to go because we buy a third of the world's consumer goods. They have nowhere to go. There is no place to find demand. But they have these facilities, they have power, they have employees, they have physical infrastructure to pay for, and they can't fucking do anything if all of a sudden we stop buying the goods. And I know this because I'm listening to people in China talk about how they're getting ready to kill themselves because they're giving up on life. And yet you guys, maybe not you guys, but it seems like a decent amount of you and almost everybody on X thinks China is the greatest fucking thing in the world. And yet I'm listening to Chinese people talking about ending their fucking lives because they have no hope. So maybe you should take some time to understand China and understand what our plan actually is, instead of listening to a bunch of bullshit commentary from a bunch of talking fucking head, stupid ass fucking people like Elizabeth fucking Warren. Let's see what kind of insightful bullshit she has right now.
Let me ask you a little bit. The big issue with this, it's
go back. Let's see. Let's see what kind of amazing things.
Dryer, but the price doesn't go up on dryers. The cost of dryers didn't.
Now you know about dryers, guys. We've saved the fucking world. Thank you, Elizabeth fucking Warren. Sorry, if you guys have your kids in the car today, maybe just turn the shit off. TMF 3X. Ugh, that doesn't sound like fun to me. Musings of the day. There's no better evidence as China's top-down GDP targeted economy than this. This is not globalization based on competitive advantage between countries. This is a runaway assembly line that churns out an endless stream of goods, regardless of economic loss or demand, because China needs to keep its restive masses employed, and it can no longer do so by building ghost cities and bridges to nowhere and high-speed trains that have nobody fucking on them. My addition at the end. It's fine and dandy when the $21 trillion U.S. consumer was waving it all in, but eventually the gravy train had to stop, given the resultant atrophy of America's industrial muscle. Good luck if you think the ROW will absorb everything. The tsunami is coming. China's global exports are just getting started. They're going to absolutely bury Europe. I hope Europe's ready for it, guys. We're shutting off the faucet. Where do you think the water goes? Where do you think it goes? It's going to you. So if you guys don't work with us, you're fucked. You're fucked. All right. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's see. Not smart EU. The tariffs will be rolled out in 2 waves starting. Okay. This is the right path. Trust the process, I said. If you don't, you better own Bitcoin. So again, if all this shit blows up, if you hate Trump and you think this is all going to blow up, you got an easy answer. Own Bitcoin. That's literally it. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. That's Elon Musk. Breaking. This is Charlie Gasparino. I like this guy. He says, sources close to the Trump White House say they're pressing on with their tariff plan based on this calculation, that the tumult on Wall Street and stock market, while significant, will not be matched by a similar tumult to the Main Street economy. That the negative wealth effect primarily targets on non-MAGA affluent voters. Remember how they said that Trump's going to make his billionaire friends rich? Well, they ain't feeling fucking rich today. That negative wealth effect primarily targets non-MAGA affluent voters, that jobs will be largely retained because of deregulation and tax relief. And they're pushing that tax relief way sooner than I thought. And soon, trade deals will be cut that lessens the tariff impact, so markets will stabilize. Bottom line, they believe that politically they will be just fine, and at least for now, they're pressing on. I'm not saying I agree with this. In fact, it's a gamble, in my humble opinion, and who knows, maybe they do a 180, but that's the thinking as we reach tariff judgment. So let's think about max pain here, guys. Max pain is us giving up, and then the markets go boom. Like, that's what it is, okay? Do you think China will invade Taiwan? I don't think they're ready to, but it's a dictator who runs the country. All you guys who I should buy China. I should buy China. You're literally buying a stock in a country that is run with a communist dictatorship who has a history of murdering 60 million fucking Chinese people. Is that your bet? Do you think that's so much better than democracy in this fucking country? Is that really your bet? Unbelievable. All right. Let's keep going. Speaking of stuff. Oh, God, there's so much in here. There's so much in here to go through. All right. China Commerce Ministry urges U.S. to properly resolve its differences with China on the basis of mutual respect and thorough dialogue on equal footing. So they raised their tariffs, right? Because let's put it this way, they buy none of our goods. And so they raise tariffs on things they don't buy anyways. So that doesn't really matter. And then they also said, we're raising it, but we'd like to talk to you. Can we talk? In a back room, maybe? Can we have a conversation? We're a little worried about our economy, and we don't want to die. We don't want the populace. Here's the thing that people don't pay attention to. I've been watching this country for fucking years. I was watching them before the pandemic in the first Trump administration when I hated Donald Trump. Okay? And I've been watching this country, and here's the deal. When they reopened after 3 years of lockdowns, they did that because the masses were rising up to overthrow them. There were riots in cities around China. There were people tipping over fucking cop cars. That is not stuff that happens there. So trust me, when I tell you that they are weak, way more weak than people realize. All right, here's a good one. Let's listen to Stephen Miller talk about some of this. It's about 7:34. Did we get any economic data today? Let me jump over real quick before we do that. Grok says top coal-based stock is ARLP, which also pays an 11% dividend. I like the way you're thinking, my friend. Angela, smart lady. Give this lady a cookie. She's thinking ahead. All right. Let's look here. Core inflation in Mexico, lower than expected. Oh, wow. Inflation, so bad. Economies not slowing around the world. So the core is lower than expected. The inflation rate is in line. Yeah. Okay, good. That doesn't sound bad. Mortgage rates, 6.61% on the 30, still finding newer lows. That is as of April 4th. Isn't that amazing? April 4th. So again, might tick up just for a hair, but this thing has lower highs, and I think that trend continues, which is why if I make a lot of money off of a bounce and the bond yields are still going up on these longer dated ones, or maybe I can find a shorter dated trade. I don't know. I got to think about it. How long can the U.S. indices stay that oversold? They can't. Today is probably the bounce day. They can't. They just can't. They can't do it. There's no way to do it. There's no way to do it. We got jack shit for economic data today. We got Fed Barkin talking and FOMC minutes coming at 1. That might be interesting. I might actually do a video for that. We'll see. Me, Kevin, if you want to do a video, let me know. What are you interested in buying today? I'm actually looking at calls on NVIDIA. How fucking crazy is that? So that might be one. I'm also probably looking at buying MSTR and Tesla. I don't know if I'm ballsy enough. PDD Holdings, I think, owns Temu. Can you guys confirm if they own Temu, and is that all of them or their parent company? I would love, like, for a potential short, as long as Chinese stocks don't get delisted, that might be a fun opportunity if it's really asymmetric. I wouldn't normally do that, but it sounds really fascinating. Then tonight we get Chinese inflation data and PPI. These are usually lies, but it's probably really horrible. NVIDIA leaps. I know, dude. I never would have thought that. I'm not going to tell you guys which ones they are because every time I do that, you front run me and I can't fucking get them. So I'm going to get them first and then I'll post. But I'm looking at NVIDIA just for diversification, and I really believe in NVIDIA. And here's the deal, man. Let's just look at this. Let's look at this real quick. This is NVIDIA. Look at this net income. Look at the revenue segments. Look at the cash flow. These guys are cash flowing, free cash flow, $15.5 billion in a quarter. Their operating leverage is retarded. And now this company's stock, how far has this stock dropped? Let's just look at this real quick. So this is kind of one of my big ideas for the day. And it's down here right now. It was down here. I wish I would have paid attention to it down here at 86. And again, we'll see what happens with today. Maybe some people front run me. Maybe I never get in. It doesn't matter. But we were previously up here at 152 and we're at 96 right now. So we're still down 38% or something. I think it's a steal. And this isn't a company, guys. This is a company that is running a forward PE of less than 22. I don't even know if this is from this morning. Roughly probably. But that, to me, that just screams interesting at the very least, right? And yeah, and maybe some SMCI too. I'm starting to feel a little like, maybe have some fun. All right. Anyway, let's look here. Jesse Bro, AMD, $200, January 2027 is super juicy. I might have to look at that too. Yeah, see, the calls are more strategic. When I'm lazy, I do 2X funds. But yeah, let's look here. So Stephen Miller talking about South Korea, Japan, Canada, and all of Europe. Let's go.
Can someone explain to me? We protect and defend South Korea. And in exchange, they steal our automobile industry, they steal our electronics industry. We protect and defend Japan, and in exchange, they close their market to our cars. We protect and defend Canada.
I think with South Korea, we're like 40% of their car exports. It's a fucking huge number, right? Like, it's a huge number. Like all these Kias and shit like that, it's a huge number.
And they run up a massive trade deficit with us. We protect and defend all of Europe. Yeah,
the VIX is almost 60, which is an historical high. There's only a few times in history where we've been this high, guys.
Cost of trillions of dollars over time, and what do? They run an over $300 billion trade deficit with the United States. Why should America protect the world, send foreign aid to the world, defend the world, provide for the world, and in exchange get ripped off by every other country in the world? And what do we have to show for it? The deindustrialization of the heartland, the destruction of the American dream, the eradication of our industrial and manufacturing base that we need for our national security, and the crushing of the American dream. It has to stop, not to mention $36 trillion in debt.
Yes, he's fucking 100% right. He's 100% right. And if you think about it, if you truly think about it in your heart of hearts and ignore your fucking portfolio, you know it's true too. Dario, can I follow your lead to the moon? Yes, I would like to go to the moon. Someday, literally. And so, yes, we can. MB ripped off how they trade is fairly balanced if you account. And no, man, fuck that. We want free and open markets, MB. Free and open markets. That's how you have efficient capitalism, okay? It's not crony capitalism where you do all these protectionist bullshit. How can the same people that argue that tariffs are bad also be the ones that want protectionism? What the fuck is that? How can it be good for you and bad for us? Why is that? Why is that a thing? We literally are applying tariffs to remove trade barriers. Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Creating more efficient, free-floating trade where the best win, and when the best win, the consumer fucking wins. Why is that bad? Because people don't want to compete? Because they're lazy as fuck? Is that why it's bad? I'm sorry, man. You get used to the New World Order or you get buried by it. You guys choose which. Zero Hedge. You mean China is exporting to Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia for re-export to the U.S. so it can circumvent direct tariffs? Just one problem that no longer works because we broke it. Jeff Park. This guy is brilliant. He is the head of Alpha Strategies at Bitwise Invest, Radical Portfolio Theory CIO, Riverian purveyor of exotic goods and esoteric services, ex-Morgan Stanley and Stanford. He's not the dumbest guy in the room, right? He's not a high school dropout who's sitting in his basement talking on YouTube. He said 90% of U.S. stocks are held by 10% of the U.S. population. This means that the stock market crash is relatively better outcome for 90% of the U.S. population. This is one of the reasons why Trump is set for a heads I win, tails I lose situation. And why is he going to hold firm? Why he's going to hold. Actually, I think it's head he wins and tails he wins. Because he wins no matter what. And here's why he wins. He wins because he can literally, like, the stock market being cheaper, if anything, the people that have always wanted to get in can get in. And again, losing value in a company, sure. But do all these companies, do all the Mag 7 have like some of the largest cash positions they've ever fucking had in history? Yes. Are they still have massive plans to do stock buybacks? Yes. So maybe it's okay. Argentina, final negotiations to become a zero tariff country. We already have Israel on the list. We have South Korea and Japan lined up next because they're good allies. Go Jesse, you rock. Thank you, Stubble. Mikkel, American consumes more due to more wealth, and people have got used to cheap prices, cheap labor in Asia. Those labor prices won't make sense. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My God, people, look ahead. Don't use just talking points that you hear in mainstream media, okay? Or from your favorite rhino Republican. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Did you guys know this? We have the smartest, most brilliant fucking person in the world who knows how to build the machine that builds the machines. And we know he's willing to give away technology to the rest of the world, including the United States, for free. How do we know that? He made the Tesla Model S and he open sourced the fucking patents on it and then told his competition, we can't build all the electric cars. Somebody do it with us. And why do we want slave labor? Do the liberals, do all you Democrats, do you miss the black people picking your fucking cotton? Is that why? Is that why we still need slave labor? Is that why you're importing immigrants to work for fucking minimum wage? Because you miss that shit? I mean, you created the KKK. You fought to keep slaves. And now you're fighting to keep them again. It's absurd. And we can do this for cheaper. And even if it costs more, I had this argument with the Myth yesterday. He's like, but the price of the iPhone will go up. I don't know. One of these fucking publications, I think it was investing.com, like a communist fucking site. They said like $30,000 to $50,000 per iPhone. Then there were others that said that it's like, oh, it's like $3,000 to $4,000 or $2,000 to $4,000. And then there's others that it's like it's going to be 50% more. I don't give a fuck. Charge 50% more. Don't produce one every year that's like just like the last one. Okay? Maybe do it every 3 years and produce something that isn't fucking trash. Is that an idea? Maybe innovation. Or you know what you can do, Apple? Die. Die. If you can't innovate, if you can't compete with the rest of the world, fucking go away. This is the natural course of action. This is why human beings die, right? This is why Elon Musk talked about this. That maybe, I don't care about life extension, because maybe at some point it's okay if you just go away. Because then new minds come up. People that are young, that are fresh to the world, who are excited, who want to change it, who want to do something different. Why don't we want that? Do we want companies that have been around for 1,000 years and never change at all? No, we want innovation. We want to lead the world in it. How are we going to do that if we have a crony capitalistic society where we pat each other's pockets and then allow our manufacturing sector and the poor to be destroyed? Fuck that. That time is over. Well, then fuck Apple. Fuck Apple. If they can't survive without slave labor, fuck them. Fuck Nike. Fuck all these companies. And by the way, China, it's not really a threat, at least not to the right, to say that you're going to prevent movies from being shown in China. We do not give a shit. But thank you for doing it. We actually don't like a lot of these companies. So we want them to make better movies and better TV shows. So I think you doing that is just going to be even better for us. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And by the way, I love China. I don't know if people realize this about me. I love China. I love China. I want to visit it someday. I want to see these people being free and not having 1,000 fucking cameras watching them every second. I want to see these people not starving to death, because that's what we're getting near. And their social systems suck. We have way more safety nets than they do. But I fear that tens of millions of people in China will die before this is over, because that's just math. And I hope it's not that. I really don't, because they deserve better. All right, let's keep going. So speaking of the EU and this dumb cunt, Trump said, nope, we don't care about your zero tariffs. We want you to buy $350 billion of U.S. energy. Bring it. Let's get that contract signed. They will do it. They will sign it. Some variant of it, they will do it. It's going to happen. Trust me. Final days of British steel. So this is what China's doing to the world. This is literally the formula, guys. This is it. You buy the companies, you buy the farmland. China owns a meat packing plant near me. They literally do. They bought it years ago. During the pandemic, China owns our fucking food supply. How is that acceptable? This is the kind of stuff that the FBI, Kash Patel, and others are working on right now to fix. They shouldn't own companies. They shouldn't own the Panama Canal. They shouldn't own the entry and exit ports. They shouldn't own our farmland. They shouldn't own our meat packing plants. And they sure as fuck shouldn't own our steel companies and then turn them off after they flood steel into our countries. And Keir Starmer, where are you? Where are you? Why aren't you fixing this? Why are you letting your last steel plant get closed? No filters. There's very few filters. If your kids are watching today, James E. Thorne. As Wall Street freaks out, so much needed historical context. Alexander Hamilton's use of tariffs as a tool of revenue generation and negotiation provides historical precedent for President Trump's approach. Hamilton, in his report of manufacturers, that 1791, advocated moderate tariffs to fund public debt and strategically leverage trade relationships, using America's market as a bargaining chip to secure favorable terms for the foreign nations. Again, guys, we've looked at the stats. We know that tariffs didn't just all of a sudden get applied and started the Great Depression. That's not the math. Tariffs got applied in the early 20s. Over 10% tariffs. I think they were a high number, okay? And we had the roaring 20s. And then we did it again at the start of a depression. Not a good idea. That's not what's happening right now. Literally the opposite of that is happening. And you know what helped get us out of the depression? The Reciprocal Tariff Act of 1934. Smoot-Hawley, yeah, sure, it got us into it. But the conditions were completely different. We weren't the world reserve currency. That was Britain. Britain, what did they do to address their concerns? They raised their taxes, which is fucking stupid. We were screwed at the time. We did all the wrong things, and we didn't have the power. We had a trade surplus back then. We have a deficit now. You know who we were like back then? You know why our depression was so bad? We were China. We had the trade surplus. We produced all the goods. We weren't the world's reserve currency, and the world was falling apart. And at that time, Britain was Kamala Harris. So look at your fucking history. Read a book. Don't just compare shit to what it's not. All right. Advocated for moderate tariffs to fund public debt and strategically leverage trade relationships. Yeah, and listen to this, Kevin. Maybe you'll fucking learn something. Using America's market as a bargaining chip to secure favorable terms from foreign nations. Similarly, Trump's use of tariffs aligns with Hamiltonian principles, addressing the U.S.'s extreme debt levels of approximately 127% of GDP. Remember, that's nothing compared to China. People, you can use so many different metrics and debt to GDP, but China's probably close to 350% from what we know. We don't know it all. You know why we don't know it all? Because they removed 90% of their economic metrics since the pandemic. You don't think they're failing? Like, have you ever followed somebody? Have you ever followed somebody who talks about investing and then they hide their shit when things get bad? Have you ever seen anybody like that? That's China. Okay? That's fucking China right now. You know who doesn't do that? America. You know who doesn't do that? Me. I show you what I do. That's what makes you trust somebody. I've got a bunch of fucking liberal cunts sitting on CNBC today talking about how everybody's going to go to China. Who the fuck trusts China? It's a communist dictatorship with a guy who's on his third term. You're worried about Trump? Fuck. Anyway, while critics decry Trump's tariffs, they reflect a pragmatic strategy rooted in Hamilton's vision of economic statecraft, emphasizing fiscal sustainability and negotiation leverage. The Rose Garden event was the beginning of the negotiation phase. The simple fact is the World War II era is coming to an end. A new multipolar world is upon us. And you know what this is, guys? You know what this is? You got the message? Okay, good. All right, now I'll be soft voice. You know what I'll do? What is it? ASMR? Hello, do you hear my voice? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we're going to be a multipolar world. And you know what just got wrecked? You know what just got wrecked? The Great Reset. We just reset it. We reset the Great Reset. Klaus Schwab quit his job at the World Economic Forum. The world is changing. Even Keir Starmer sees it. The EU sees it. Okay? It's happening. And you know what? We're doing the right thing. You know how I know it? Because there's a really wise man named Bernie Sanders. Let's listen to him.
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs.
Hey, this is a great idea. Dude, we should do something like this. What do you guys think?
What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom. Freeing corporate America?
Bernie, what?
American workers out on the street, people are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, health care, pensions, throw
Hey guys, we should do this to help the little guy, says Bernie Sanders.
them out on the
So we've got the endorsement from really far left liberals.
street because somehow, Madam President, we are going to create wealth in America and good paying jobs in America as we shut down plants, we move to China, corporations there pay workers 20, 30 cents an hour, and we bring the product back into this country.
You know what? I 100% agree with you, Bernie. You're right. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Gonna pick up my daughter from school. Switching to headphones, please. I'll try and do better. Tyler, if Trump pulls this off, a combination of lowered export trade barriers and increased investment jobs in the United States, he would likely be in the conservation of one of the greatest presidents of all time. Think of him what you will. This is true. This is literally what's happening. Samson Mao. I like Samson. I've been arguing with him lately, but I do like him, and he follows me. He's a good dude. He's an OG from the way back, but he had some. He thinks more highly of China than I do. I don't know. Samson, are you Chinese? I don't think so. I think he's something else. You guys tell me. But let's listen to Besson here talk about what's happening.
As I said, many of our trading partners, they have queued up and they have kept their cool. They have not escalated, and they will get priority in the queue. I think it was a big mistake, this Chinese escalation, because they're playing with a pair of twos. Traditionally, if you look at the history of
this guy broke the Bank of England. China's on the edge of a depression, and you guys are worried about what's going to happen to America. Blows my mind. Hey Kevin, when I'm right about all this, can you do me a favor? Can you make a video about that and then post it? I want to increase my subscriber count, so maybe you could help out with that.
The trade negotiations. We are the deficit country. So what do we lose by the Chinese raising tariffs on us?
This is a day before they did it, by the way. And the market was down today. I don't even think we're going to be down. I'm honestly just going to buy it open. I'm just putting 400K in. Fuck it. Not even kidding.
1/5 to them of what they export to us. So that is a losing hand for them.
So again, we have all the cards. Don't worry about the 10-year right now. Again, I don't even know, how salty is everybody's vagina today? Because I'm hearing all these things about how the 10-year has exploded. Guys, the 10-year exploded higher. Oh my God. It's in the same fucking range it's been in since December of 2022. Is that what you're worried about? Is that it? You're worried that it's still done the same thing for 2 years? That's the biggest concern you have. Modifying the supplemental leverage ratio alone will get us down into the threes and get us down to the neckline of this rising, broadening, megaphone pattern, wedge, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't care. It gets us down to here, to the neckline again. Just modifying the supplemental leverage ratio. One of our many tools. But you know what I would use first if I was Scott Besson? And I'm not that smart. I'm just a dude in his basement who dropped out of high school. But you know what I would do? I would probably make the Fed. I would let this shit break if you can get it to break. And then I would have the Fed lower rates first. And then I would apply the supplemental leverage ratio. Really crush it all at once. And I don't even know. They probably have more tools than that. You know what I assume? I assume that these people are smarter than me. You know why? Because they're not Janet Yellen. So, all right. Can we get BTC in the 60s once? No, sorry, bro. I'm rooting for you, though. All right, Bizregard. China announcement. It will restrict exports. This is literally the only thing they have. And they already used it. It's like they had twos, and then they just got I don't know, some other shitty card that doesn't help them. and they're like, okay, double down. Double down right now. Let's throw it all in. This is it. This is all they got. And that doesn't even this doesn't matter. You know what's amazing about rare earth elements? They're not rare. They're everywhere. All we have to do is just refine them. And we already have places that can do it. They just need to go ahead. They need the understanding that we are going to stand our ground. And we are. If you guys got kids, this is going to be the kid-friendly portion of the episode. I'm going to slow down the cussing, okay? Kobayashi letter, breaking. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says tariffs are coming in on April. Well, we know that already. Well, do we have anything new here? We're all falling apart. Everybody's scared. I think that's good on the tariff front. What do you guys think? I think we're good. So we got record extreme fear, and we're going to show some other stuff. We're going to jump into U.S. economy. This is probably a good segue. Guys, you have to own Bitcoin. So again, I already talked about this, but yeah, if you're naive enough, and sorry to my friends who don't look at my posts anymore or pay attention to my market opens, but if you're dumb enough to comment and say that you think that all the oil companies are going to go bankrupt because we go down here, and then we had all these years from 2015, 16, 17, part of 18, 2020, where we were in that range and the world didn't end, I can't help you. You probably need to seek additional help. Let's listen to Shamath. This is actually kind of what I hope happens. I kind of hope this happens. I want to push the Fed's hand.
With all of the tariffs, the one thing that we haven't sufficiently talked about is there is a tremendous amount of corporate debt that supports these businesses today.
The bell is in a half an hour, right? Unless they change the time.
And you would say, well, if long-term rates go down, there's no real risk. But the tariff picture actually impacts revenues. And the problem with that is that there's a lot of companies that have debt covenants tied to revenue and EBITDA. And so this is what I spoke about at the beginning of January, which is the one risk that is uncontrollable is what happens to corporate debt. And could we see a wave of defaults and a wave of action?
Best performing asset. Everybody loves this one. What do you got, Shamath?
I would be long CDS. I'm buying insurance using credit default swaps. I think that there is a small chance of...
Yeah, so here's the deal. Shamath just made a bunch of money. I probably should have looked into this. This is not credit default swaps are not my turf. I probably should have done the research in hindsight, and I'm going to do more research in the future because I think this is a really brilliant way to play things if you think the world is falling apart. It's too late now for this one. We need to get back to a more stable place, and I don't know when they'll become handy again. But I just did not... You know, you hear what the big guys do, and you maybe are a little intimidated by it, and you don't take the time to learn it. You know, he made a bunch of money.
Some volatility next year. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope that this trade loses money. But if it hits, it will be the best performing asset of 2025. It has hit. For every $1 billion of risk you would have put on, would have cost you about $1 million. And that $1 million would have made you about $7 million in about 3 months. Why is this important? The CDS actually represents the structural risk in the United States corporate economy.
Very smart move. Why didn't you guys tell me about this? Or why didn't I tell you?
So when you see these spreads blowing out, this is actually a very important warning sign. This is what was the canary in the coal mine for the great financial crisis. The tariff picture and the recession picture will get played out in this chart. And I think it's something that folks can and should probably.
So guys, somebody take a note. Next time, credit default swaps, okay? That's where we have the fun. So data-driven investing, I don't always agree with him. I think he's more liberal than I am, but whatever. I don't care about that. I don't end friendships because people have different political affiliations. That's just some of the people I know. But he said if the administration is really confident that they're going to release an economic boom like we've never seen before, fueled by greater efficiency, that means future rates will be lower than present rates, right? Right? Isn't that what we're expecting? So despite what Scott Bessent has been saying, worst case scenario, he could just kick the can because he knows what's coming. So they might have just played a huge game against China, especially if they're dumping our bonds. Because if we have no intention of locking in rates yet, or again, we modify the supplemental leverage ratio, we do defense bonds, we do Bitcoin bonds, we do all the bonds, then really there's nothing to worry about here. Because in the future, we're expecting rates to be lower and we're expecting things to be better. But I still think we're going to do some things to push down rates. I think they're going to get the Fed. I think the big play is getting the Fed to pull things down and being forced to. And then once the Fed's been forced to do what they're going to do, that's when you spend your arsenal on the Treasury. That's when you spend it. All right. Said you're spot on. Do you have a clip where, oh, yeah, shit. Where he said, I should have. Yeah, sorry, dude. I failed you on that one. I didn't see that message. I'll try and find something. What's the next fib support for CleanSpark? I wouldn't even focus on that. You should just buy it. Not financial advice. It's just like right now. 3-year SOFR and free fall. Again, credit swaps. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Just like magic, real Donald Trump will get what he wants. Nick Timmeros, Nikki Leaks. The Fed is facing a dreadful set of trade-offs. Prices are likely to rise in the coming months as tariffs bite. Are they really that much? We're going to talk about that. But uncertainty is freezing hiring and CapEx bad for growth. That's true. So wait, we're slowing down the economy. We're slowing down the world's economy. And then people can strategically choose not to buy. In fact, I will I will in it so much say that maybe it was brilliant to have 104% tariffs. And why do I say that? Because you completely freeze trade. If you completely freeze trade, how likely? Tell me in chat. All right, we're going to do a poll. We're going to do a poll because we need this. We got 26 minutes until the market open. All right, so I'm going to start this one. Hopefully I worded this well. Are you still spending money on things from China that are optional? Throw it out there, guys. Give me your votes. I'm going to guess that a lot of you guys are holding off on spending. I'm just going to throw that out there. And so it's called supply-demand dynamics, okay? It doesn't seem to be used by people that aren't very intelligent, but when you have... So right now we got 78% of the people say no, 75% say no. Please put your vote out there. Are you really paying 104% more for your goods than you were a week ago? Or are you delaying purchases if you don't need them? I can tell you what, I'm not buying any of this shit. I'm not. And so if you delay the purchases, guess what that doesn't do? It doesn't increase inflation. In fact, if anything, it makes the people trying to sell the goods desperate, and they lower the price and they dump the goods into other countries, and or they lower the price just to try and sell it into the U.S. market, and they eat that shit because they can't afford to shut down their manufacturing. They can't do it. And so everybody's like, oh, inflation go up because 104% tariff. But you know what the penguins know? The penguins know that it doesn't fucking matter. Because, yeah, sure, people that are rich or stupid will buy these things. So, by the way, I'm saying you're stupid if you said yes. Or you're rich. Could be a good compliment, too. But they'll buy because they don't care, and it doesn't really affect their spending power. Or they'll buy because they're stupid and they'll have less money to spend. But that will be the lesser proportion. So, what you need to realize is that it's not that impactful. And I've got more data for you. This is going to be fun. Let's go back here. I got more data. I put in the Fed. Why? Because the nonchalant attitude and disinterest by the Fed during this historic moment really brings into the question, why should they be here? Zero Hedge says, absolutely spectacular meltdown. The base trade is blowing up. Their basis trade is blowing up, sparking multi-trillion-dollar liquidation events. Bail out Trump's trade war. Press the button. Allow basis trade hedging funds to blow up. Which one do you do, Powell? I put Jerome will have to do an emergency rate cut to help with better lending rates. To help, it won't help immediately, but there are things Bessent can do, and we should get the big, beautiful bill in the next 3 to 5 weeks. It looks like they're pushing that forward. Again, credit spreads blowing out, all kinds of risk-related stuff blowing out. Wait, but here is the thing we need to talk about. Chinese goods don't matter as much as people think regarding the CPI or inflation. Housing, 35% or 34% of CPI. Housing. And what do we know from our boy Tom Lee? We know that housing, all these rentals and the sales, they're going down. The prices are going down. Okay? What do you think is going to happen to real estate right now with rates going up? It's going to scare the shit out of the sellers, and they're going to drop their prices. Because if you're trying to sell a house right now and you saw that rates just went up, when you thought they were going down and you heard about everything Scott was doing to lower rates and you were set on lower rates and now they start going up, you're going to desperately try and sell your fucking house before the rest of them. So we already had rents coming down and we got housing coming down. That's 1/3 of the metric. Oil, 3.5%, direct energy components with broader effects diffused. So oil is the base. Oil and energy are the base costs and they ripple through everything, every part of the supply chain. So their impact is going to be great. Chinese goods that we're buying are 3 to 4% of our CPI component. You think CPI is going to blow up? You guys are worried about inflation? Are you fucking kidding me? Wake up. Also, again, $57 oil is not good for Russia. We can end the Russian war by getting the EU to buy our energy. So what do I have to say? Survive. Stay strong. The VIX closed above 50 today. It's at 53 right now, which is in the top 1% of historical readings. When the VIX is high, you're at the bottom. Stay strong. Don't be a little bitch. Yeah, Timu's gonna die. Short that shit if you don't think we're gonna close down the Chinese market. And guys, are you gonna buy Baidu today? Are you gonna buy it today? Are you gonna buy that shit today? When you just had Scott Bessent say that they might shut off the Chinese market? Are you? Good luck. Hong Kong stock market officially closes down over negative 13%. This was the other day. Worst day since 1997. And their stock market, guys, is at levels it was at the 2000 .com bubble. Thanks for the opium, Jesse. Much needed. I'm assuming you mean hopium. Opium is what we did to the Chinese Britain did to the Chinese during the Opium Wars. That's what they're doing to us with the fentanyl wars. Are people smart enough to realize that? Peru, Saxena. I love this guy. He's probably got a bigger head than I do. Look at that. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I do like him. So don't tell him I said that. Massive short positions in U.S. listed ETFs. This is the fuel which will trigger ferocious rally. I don't know why I said it. I'm making no friends in this space, guys. Prime Book, U.S. listed ETFs. Look at this. Boom. Look at the shorting against U.S. listed. This is rocket fuel going back to 2015. Andreas Steno Larson. Powell will regret this speech very soon. I'm well positioned to wait and consider adjustments. I agree. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Mark Newton. Mark Newton, our boy at Fundstrat. He actually responded to me the other day. That was very nice of him. He's a sweet guy. I like him. Perfectly proportional head. Yeah. While near-term rallies might be near, the intermediate-term view requires a lot of strength. Participation and breadth recovery and technical structure on rallies will be extraordinarily important. Seeing the S&P new 6-month lows rise to levels not seen since 2022 is not comforting. All we depend on the pattern and the bounce and detailed notes. So S&P 500 breadth, new 6-month lows. I get excited about this because this goes back to pandemic level stuff. Sorry. Are you looking at PDD? I want to, but now I'm afraid he's going to shut down Chinese stock market, the stocks, and then I'm fucked. So I want to short it, but I don't feel like I can. All right, and then we got Ryan Detrick talking about seasonality and all. There's every metric right now is telling us you're going to make a fortune if you buy today, right now. We got 15 minutes until market open, and I got to pee. So instead of trying to hold my penis and keep it from coming out, I'm going to run real quick, okay? So give me a second. I'm going to put this up here, grab a quick coffee, and we're going to get ready to rock and roll. Are you guys ready for this? I'm ready for it. Let's do it. All right, let's get to Jimmy here. Be right back.
I mean, people are selling things with basic. I mean, I've dealt with most of the pharmaceuticals today, okay?
Right.
No one, All right,
none of them knows.
But no, nobody knows anything. And Rowan, I don't know if we have the sound in terms of just talking about the uncertainty that's permeating more or less everything. And so we talk about all these companies that are, I expect many will, at least the conversations I have indicate they will remove guidance. How can they not? They don't know what their input costs are going to be, for example, on so many things.
I think a lot of them will use this to never have to give guidance again.
We're also in a point where we may be headed towards a recession. The consumer may be pulling back significantly.
I know. I mean,
how do you figure anything out, including what a multiple should be for anything, including Apple, as you pointed out at the top of the program?
That's why I say if I can't figure out the multiple, then I'm going to be a seller, not a buyer.
Take a listen to Rowan earlier with Sorkin talking about just general uncertainty. More specifically, he was talking about in terms of the approach the administration has made towards in terms of the trade negotiations or what may be negotiations.
I would rather have uncertainty from 4% unemployment and adding 200,000 jobs than uncertainty, a different way. Having said that, no uncertainty is better. What do I expect? I expect over the next 90 days, we'll see the beginnings of countries coming to make deals. I think those deals that are purely financial, tariff rates, are very easy to make because it's a number. Those deals that involve non-tariff barriers, particularly with the EU, will be much harder to make and will take longer. I think uncertainty will come down if deals progress. Uncertainty will go up if deals don't progress.
I do wonder, it still can take a long time to negotiate all of these different agreements with so many different countries if we get there. And not China, by the way, because it doesn't appear that as likely. But
I think the average person at home is saying, you know what, I know that there's several powerful people within the White House. This fellow Peter Navarro seems powerful, and he's very anti-China. You have a fellow Elon Musk, and he's very more of a globalist. And I think that what we're stuck with is a lot of people are saying, well, when is the president going to come out to say where he really is?
But hasn't he been doing that?
Well, he's been saying he's for Main Street, not Wall Street.
Didn't he say about the negotiations, everybody's dying to make a deal?
Right, but okay, do you really have a situation where you have... Is this a team of rivals? Are you giving me a Lincoln situation?
No, I'm giving you, actually, it's one guy. It's the president. He's the decision maker on everything.
Does the president have these warring people and then decides, you know what, I'm choosing today, I'm
How
going
boring was
with
that? You guys get anything from
Navarro?
this?
I think it's a little complicated.
You guys get anything from these guys? These retards have anything to say? Hey, if you like what you're hearing too, or if you're just really weirded out by it and you want to support the channel, if you guys want to go ahead and hit the like, put in comments on X where I have this thing posted right at the top of my feed. That would be wonderful. At 8:30 in roughly 14 minutes, I will be going balls deep into this market. I'm going to go ahead and probably put $400,000 to work today. So I'm not messing around. I'm too stoked by everything I'm seeing. And if it all blows up in our face, guys, if you own Bitcoin or Bitcoin related investments, you'll still do good. And this is your opportunity, okay? This is it. This is literally it. Eunice Yoon. We got Eunice in China. I love this lady so much. She's so great. We love Eunice. Let's get ourselves some Eunice here, guys.
In Beijing, of course, this is China announces retaliatory tariffs.
Love you, Eunice.
Tariffs this morning. Eunice, any late news beyond that?
Well, the Chinese retaliatory tariffs, as you said, are going into effect today, so in about 3 hours' time. But if there's any question as to whether or not the Chinese were going to back down, have a change of heart, and accommodate President Trump, the Chinese laid that to rest by adjusting their tariffs to match President Trump's 50% adjustment, and now the tariff rate for all American
You guys can now call me Roaring Shitty.
goods coming into here is
It's my new name.
going to be 84%. So in addition to that, the Chinese named 18 companies that would be vulnerable to restrictions under an unreliable entity list, also export control list, so they wouldn't be allowed to source any dual-use items from Chinese suppliers. And this all comes in line with the general messaging that we've heard out of China, and that is that
I don't know EOC. I've given a lot of shit to that company. And all these guys, I don't know. I got to do more research. I probably need to get more active now on the Discord. And we should be talking about some of this stuff and pulling it up more. We definitely have to do more of that. Maybe today we'll make it a longer episode and try and get through some tickers and talk about some stocks.
China plans to stand firm. In fact, in a public speech today, his first since the escalation, President Xi
I'm worried I'm going to miss this NVIDIA opportunity, but I'm going to have to check it out quick.
Jinping had really tried to paint himself as a defender of multilateralism.
He's defending us, guys.
Also said that he was going to strengthen his ties with neighboring countries. The People's Daily, which is the voice of the Communist Party, ran an op-ed where they were quoting President Xi as saying that the best way to weather the storm is to focus with unwavering determination. And then today, the Commerce Ministry also reiterated that it did have what it described as an abundant means for retaliation.
If you were ever going to short the VIX, this is the time.
And then what was interesting is that they also tweaked their language around the TikTok sale, saying that any TikTok sale required Beijing's approval. And the reason why that's interesting is that in its past statements recently, it's actually been softening that at saying that they support companies having deals with companies. So it's toughening up.
It doesn't mean shit. We love you, Eunice.
Okay, so Eunice, we know that the tariff, the 84% number, when you try to look at who that could impact, again, it's farmers, and we'll write them a check because that's the American way. There is Boeing, but Boeing doesn't make enough planes to even export. And by the way, Boeing has orders for 40 years worth of planes. So it comes back to this list of undesirables. Now, do we have any color on, or are we just going to just once again punish the medical equipment companies, punish Micron, punish Apple, punish Starbucks maybe, punish Nike? Who are we punishing? Because they're, honestly, they have an empty threat against us with the 84%. Not that I don't think they can hurt us, but I need to know who they're going to hurt.
Well, it's at this point, we still don't know. Because that list of the 18 was mainly defense, aerospace, so these are companies, and most of the companies actually on that list had been on this sanction list before, mainly because of their work with Taiwan and arms sales.
If you did like probably an end of week on that short, that would probably be a pretty good, like maybe a week out or something if you can get it. That would be a pretty good one because the chance of you seeing just a massive crush in the VIX, I think, is pretty decent, maybe into the 20s.
So this was more of a symbolic list. Yes.
And then just don't be greedy. If you make a lot of money off of it, get out.
So you could see that the Chinese are holding back when it comes to really trying to go after individual companies.
Not financial advice.
Probably because of the potential impact that could have, not only on jobs here, but also on scaring away other American investment, which the Chinese do want.
Right. Eunice, thank you. Eunice Yoon in Beijing. Meanwhile, Jim.
Love you, call me.
We want to sell something there. It's 84% more. We want to buy something here. Of course, that much more often occurs. It's 104%, some 124 because there's still 20%
so don't buy.
goods from the Biden administration.
So you're
nobody's buying any.
All right, real quickly. So let's end this poll because I feel like we could do that now. How many people we got in here? So Scott Bessent, we're just going to go over some math here, guys. Scott Bessent indicated that roughly it's a 4-to-1 ratio for the percent increase that occurs and then what gets passed on to the consumer in regard to the inflation for the amount that's being tariffed, right? So out of 10% of tariffing, 2% gets brought to the consumer. If you have 100%, you're going to have a 20% increase on average, maybe 24% increase across all these goods right now based upon the tariffing levels that we currently have. So there is going to be impact. But that also matches the math here, right? Because we have close 3-to-1 of people that say that they're not going to buy these things for inflated prices. So you only have a 20% or 20 to 25% inflation amount versus what you're normally paying that gets passed on to the consumer, because 3-to-1 of people will not buy now. And so they'll slow down the demand. And with the demand being crushed, the suppliers will have to lower prices and or dump in other markets. And if you dump into other markets, those markets can then resell back to us at a lower price. We can basically do the same shit that they've done to us for years, by routing things through different countries to get the goods for cheaper. And there's probably an incentive for the suppliers to try and find workarounds too, to be able to avoid the tariffs even still. And some will get through. So you have really what is not going to be that inflationary. It just won't. And I think that's what's going to scare China a lot in the weeks ahead. And I do think, and even with the raising of the tariffs that they had, they still said they wanted to talk. So I look at it as a de-escalation. Really, the only big fear right now is war. That is it. That is the only fear. Outside of that, there isn't much of anything. So very excited about where we are. I'm still managing risk. You still want to manage risk. When I go in today, I might not be doing a lot of 2x leverage stuff. I'm probably still going to do some strategic option purchases, but I own so much in ARKG all the way out to June of 2026 in some cases. Clean Spark up to November. Might even get some stuff in January. Mara all the way September and December. Then MSTX. So I've got a lot of like different plays that are asymmetric in nature, and I might add NVIDIA to that, and then again probably some TSLL too. So there's some stuff I have, but I'll probably just get Tesla stock and keep it safe. It is a huge upside. So all these things that I'm talking about have huge upside, and I've already got like stuff that can give me just amazingly outsized returns. But if we look here on Tesla stock, just from where we are, let's go back up here. So where we are in pre. It's 118% to get back up to there. It's probably at least 250 or more if you own TSLL on a V-shaped bottom. So you can make a lot of money back. Probably 250, close to 300. Probably close to 300 on a V-shaped bottom. Jesse, any MSTR on Focus or on MSTX? I'm probably going to buy the same asset or just MSTR too. I'll probably do that with at least $100,000 just MSTR. I don't know. I got to think about it. I might just do MSTX for that trade right now because I have a lot of conviction in Bitcoin's ability to be able to absorb any of the pain that's being felt, because the money printer is going to go burr. It's definitely going burr in China. It's probably going burr in Europe. It's going to go burr in other parts of the world, and it probably will go burr here because, again, we're looking to pass that big, beautiful bill. So we're going to see things moving quicker, and I think that will be a huge boost to Bitcoin. Are you planning to hold on to your iron position? Where do you see it going? Yeah, I'm holding on to it. I'll probably sell it closer to 15. A lot of these things, like the miners, guys, when they go up 200%, I'll be dialing out aggressively, and a little bit along the way, and then just more aggressively as we get higher. Rose Gold Gunner, if we get risk on, ARKG calls are going to print. Dude, I have so many. Even today, I'm sitting at 300,000 calls. I've got 3,800 contracts for June of 2026 at 48. I've got 4,500 contracts for January of 2026 at 50. If these things print, them alone can get me to my $10 million level that I was trying to get to. Just that. So I'm not getting too crazy. I'm going to probably do a lot of MSTR and Tesla today. I might just dump it all into MSTR, Tesla, and then my other baby, those NVIDIA contracts. I really want those contracts. I can taste it. So we're going to be going in like 1 minute. It's almost game time, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some shit over here, and we're going to watch this happen. You got Bitcoin down in the corner. You've got pre-market over here. We're going to go ahead and show you what we're sitting at in pre. That's what we're at right now. So a little bit of green, not a ton of green. And then we're going to go right now to the daily performance, and we're going to sit over here. I'm going to get ready to make some trades. We got about 2.5 minutes. If you guys have questions, throw them out while I'm getting stuff situated here. And again, I might get quiet just for a minute. I'm broke. Send help. Sorry, bro. Shit happens, man. I've been there. I was trading in and out, so I could do you ever buy pre-market? No, I don't even have my account set to go pre-market. I don't, because if you do anything of size pre-market, and I guess I could with Robinhood, but I'm pretty sure I already bought. Yeah, no, I already bought in that account. So I'm already positioned in that one. But no, I there's so little liquidity. If you have any positioning of size, you could get really fucked with pre. And again, it's just like, I don't even want to worry about it. I've never done it. Well, I did like for a while, but I just never do it anymore. I don't see much point. I would rather do it during the day. What is the best way to short the VIX? I think some people already threw out a ticker. You might need to go up. ASVIX, yeah, there's one. All right, so we got over here. Oh, I do have a position in that. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm already good on that one. So one of my accounts, I already had an order in. I just wanted to check it. So that's good. And then my other account over here, I got about $250,000 in this one. And we're gonna go balls to the walls today, guys. We're leaning up to that. Oh God, I want green back. Hey, today's your day. Christopher Campbell. Oh yeah, bank just posted a bonus. Thought I was gonna have to wait till tomorrow. Awesome, dude. Victor Hernandez, so cool when all is up. So here's the only thing I'll throw out, guys. If some other weird stuff happens, I think we're at max pain because I don't know what else China has outside of war. And we keep telling them we want to work with them. We want to work with them. And it's in their best interest to do that because they need more consumer spending and less production. We need more production and less consumer spending. So we can find an equilibrium with each other and work with each other, and we want to. That is the incentive we are creating. So I don't know. I'm excited. Hopefully people realize what's going on. But we could get something. We could still get something bad. Shit can happen, okay? Let me see here. I gotta see how much I can actually buy in pre. Yeah, that's a good number. All right, I'm just gonna do that. Then I want some of this. So I'm just gonna do this too. And the market is just kind of meandering. But honestly, man, I think people are gonna start to figure out that we have the upper hand. And when that happens, it's going to be real. Oh, it looks like we're going to town here. I got a bunch of orders filling. I don't even know what I bought. Let me see how much money I have left. I got a little bit. All right, so let's see here. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. Should refresh here. Should refresh in a second. Oh, let me see. What do we got? GL2, NVIDIA's up. Oh, I still want to get some NVIDIA calls. One sec, guys. Got to do something. All right. Sorry, got that song in my head. All right. What do we have here? It's already up a bunch. NVIDIA's already up a bunch. I'm gonna wait. Bastards. All right. So I did end up buying some stuff. Probably good here. I will post my orders. I did actually go balls to the walls. The technicals are just too good for me not to. I might dial some of this back and get out of the leverage stuff later if we get a really good V-shaped bottom. But for now, I just went ahead and went in. Just to have some fun. One sec here. Let me move this over here and here. All right, so we're seeing stuff moving today, guys. We're seeing some nice bounces, guys. Nice bounces. Who's ready for the good stuff today? Here, let me post real fast. All right, there you go, guys. Is that big enough balls for y'alls? Is that enough? $400,000? Is that enough? You've been conditioned to feel that way, Sawyer. You've been conditioned to feel that way, and that's okay. That's what makes markets, right? You just can't let fear rule your life. You do need to manage risk, though. All in? Yep. I believe China's got twos, man. Can I borrow a ball? I do have a growth on my right one I still need to address, but it's not cancerous, so I'm waiting. So you can have whatever's left. Christopher Brown, a very encouraging stream, Jesse. Hundreds of hours of your streams have programmed me to love down days. Good. I've not bought TLT. I might in the future. I wanted the NVIDIA options, but they were already up like a shit ton today. I was hoping they would be down. But what do you do? I mean, you got to roll with what you got, right? All right, let's go back here. So we covered economy stuff, I feel like pretty good. Energy. Let's talk about energy. Oh, geopolitics. There's so much good stuff. We got Cynthia Loomis talking about releasing American energy. I love that. We got Trump reviving the coal industry with bold executive orders. Again, we're bringing back energy, guys. What if it's cheap, clean coal? He's been talking about that forever. It's happening. Haig, you mentioned looking at some charts. Yes, we will. So look at this. This is the clean coal industry. Let's just listen here real quick.
Can you tell me why we load trains, millions and millions of tons of coal on 100-carriage trains, shipped all the way over to China, and then they burn it for cheap electricity, turn it into wind turbines, and ship them back, and we're going to build them all throughout our community, and where the jobs will come from is easy, because you will need one.
Discord tickers are cut off. I mean, it's right on X, too. You just got to... Oh, you're right. Oh, that does suck. All right, let me do this. That's a good point. That's a fair point. I don't know why that happened. Maybe I should, let me just go over here. I'll just do this. Here we go. There we go.
1,000 of these things spinning 24 hours a day to replace one 2,000 megawatt coal-fired power station. By the time you build them, you will be rebuilding them. They don't last 20 years. Do you think that this and the infrastructure and tens of thousands of kilometres of transmission lines is going to make your life cheaper? Well, I've got a bridge to sell you in New York.
He's 100% right. Also, here's the Office of Nuclear Energy talking about small, advanced light water, small nuclear module reactors, guys. We're doing it. Oh, so excited. We're bringing it back, man. We're gonna make the world a better place, and I'm for it. I'm here for it in a big way, in a really big way. I'm so excited right now for America, for the world. I don't know what SVIX is. Can you tell me what it is? Oh, the short. Yeah. Okay, you're talking about the short VIX, right? Okay, my bad. Let me look over here. Oh, let me do this. I'll pull this up. Let me go to a new one. Oh, I need to put bearish. Oh, I am on put bearish. Perfect. So let's just do I would do the 17th to be safe. And I would do like, let's see, it might be busy. Let's see what it looks like. So this is a 20 strike. Oh God, this isn't even, no, it's too busy, guys. There's no money to be made here. So this is going long put. Oh, wait, my bad. Let me see here. Ugh, I hate this. You got to make sure you're doing it in the right direction. So long call, but on the put side, April 17th, $20. Let me try this again. Make sure I'm doing the math right. Is this really it? No, this can't be it. I'm fucking this up. We're longing a put, a $20 put. Yeah. Is this really the positioning? What is this going to? Yeah, it's going to 50. Let me see something real quick here. This is so broken. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. Are you out of cash now? No, dude, I got like $3,000 or something. Actually, I have more, but that's taxes, and then I was going to keep like $100K just for things that might come up for expenses over the next year. On top of revenue now that I have some. So I don't know. We are seeing things starting to go up. I should jump over here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking at. Let me do this. Long put. Yeah, long put bearish. Okay, that sounds right. I think I'm doing this wrong. Sorry, I don't go. I haven't went negative in so long. So am I doing a call? Yeah, I think so. Let's try it over here. 20. Maybe this is right. No, this isn't right either. No, I think it's just really jacked up. I think there's too many people in that trade. How much do you have in MST? I have about 306,000 in MSTX. And then I have, I believe, more MSTR in my other account. I'd have to look. And then for Tesla, I have about 380,000 in just Tesla stock. And then I have 80,000 in TSLO calls. EU approves a 25% tariff. Cool. Cool. All right. So we're going to town with them. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. They've got a, $350 billion deficit? It's all good. Jesse, it's a short ticker, so it's a long call. Yeah, but I just did that, right? I did that, and it looks like shit. I see. I think I see what you mean. I'm being retarded. That's what you're telling me? In the nice way? So what you're telling me is I should be over here, and then I should have this. No, that's still not right. No, because if I do it the other way, it still looks like shit. It still looks like shit. If we do it, because let's see here. Yeah, so it's a long call calculator for the SVIX, and if we look at it. Am I tripping here? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, now I got it. You're right. It is the short. God, I am retarded. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm not going to lie. A lot of stuff going through my brain. So what you're saying, if I've got the right calculator pulled up. Let's do this. Let's see if this looks right. No, it still looks retarded. What am I doing wrong? Why is my brain not working? Yeah, there we go. 99 to 109. This is super tiny. And this only goes out to what? The 17th or something? Or I picked the one that's like just happening. Oh, shit. No, that's wrong. Yeah, it's so broken. Yeah. I'm being retarded. I think I had it right. So this is a long call. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm doing something wrong, or I'm being retarded. I don't know why. I haven't done this in a while. I'm looking at the calculator backwards. If you guys can see what I'm doing, I don't want to think about it too much, and I don't care right now, honestly. And it's already down to 49.39. There's going to be a very limited window to jump on this one. And let me see here. So long call. We're not putting it. I think I've got it right. Long call, bullish calculator. Long put, but it's not a put. It's a long call. I just feel like something's not right. Because it's in the opposite direction. How are you feeling about CleanSpark? Just a matter of time and be patient. I feel really good. It's up 2.3% today. Mara's up 2.8%. MicroStrategy's up 7.4%. TSLL is up 8% on the day. I'm feeling good about everything. If you look down in that bottom corner, you'll see that we're doing pretty good there too. I like the fact that I'm still a multimillionaire. That feels cool. It especially feels cool when you think you're near the bottom. Now, you guys said that the EU imposed tariffs. See, nobody cares. If that's the case, if the EU just imposed 25% tariffs, nobody cares because it's the exact same problem, right? They don't buy enough from us. We buy way more from them. So the overall impact, they're the losers. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. Let's do latest here. There you go. Ooh, let's see. Like I just said, it's for show. Cosmetics and soy. I'll look at the chart asphyx, maybe to help the vision. I could be wrong. Worst case scenario is already priced in. Like I just said, is show on cosmetics and soy. Trump is speaking at 2 p.m. If VIX goes down, asphyx goes up. Oh yeah. Jesus Christ, I'm so retarded. Oh my God, dude. This is why you got to get sleep, guys. Sleep deprivation's bad. See, I don't know, though. I don't know what the equivalent is. What does asphyx do if the VIX crushes by 50%? What does it do? So that's like what? Here, kind of? I don't know. I don't know what to... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might give you a wicked return. I just never played with it. All right, VIX drops 50%, then SVIX goes up 50%. Okay, well, that doesn't look super good for this really short-dated one, but that's, like, really quick. Let's do the 17th. And, see, the thing is, I don't know what the... We expect this thing to go up 50%, so really what we're talking about is maybe like a 15 handle or something like that, right? So let me just do this. So this is a week out. Let's say I put 25,000 into it. It goes up 50%, somewhere around here. I make about, it's just such a weird range. Let me bring this way down because I don't think that's realistic and it's throwing off the skew. All right, so if this thing goes up to that target that I'm talking about and it does it quickly, then maybe you make, if it does it like today or this week, you can make 600% off that 50% move. There we go. I'm not retarded. Well, I mean, I kind of am, but not as retarded as I thought I was. All right, and we are starting to see the market maybe come back down from the 25% China tariff. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And I don't care. I'm in. I'm in. I call this the bottom. I call this as the bottom. I'm buying IWM calls 1 month out. Okay. That could get a whipsaw. Good luck. I don't do short-dated stuff, but good luck to you, sir. What do we have today? So let's look. Oil. Let's look at a few different things here, and we can look at maybe some other charts too. Oil dropped all the way down to 55.21, and then it started to bounce. So it is getting a little bit of a recovery. It looks like those guys aren't going to go bankrupt this week. That's a little joke. All right, the dollar. Let's just check out the dollar. The dollar is weakening. I actually like that. This helps our exports. So we're down about 0.7% on the day. I don't hate it. Let's see what else we have. I'm just going to check over here. I just added current positions, open my first position in NVIDIA. Yeah, that is one where if that goes down, if we do get some kind of crush, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to see if I'm going to check those NVIDIA calls. I might even sell a little bit since I bought a lot of Tesla stock and not options or the 2X fund, the TSLL. Then I might just fuck around with sell a little bit of the Tesla stock and then use some of that to buy my NVIDIA options. I'm not going to lie. I might still do that play today. All right, let's just take a look here and see if there's any new news. Yes, this is real life. This is a great time to buy. Trump just said that? I love it. Guys, can you tell me, will the SEC go after Trump? Probably not. Walmart is addressing investors. Oh, okay, cool. What did they say? Seemed not concerned, and you bring your firms you want outlook. What did they say? Sorry, what was their actual take? I know they're trying to pass on the cost to the suppliers. I know that. Oh, it's up right now. I see. Okay, let's do this. Let's look at that real quick. Let's look. Let's go back here. All right, we're going to listen to this.
Maybe we can do the same thing and be a little nuanced. And then what happens is this market goes up 2,000 points. The atavistic.
I believed him, actually. You might not have believed him, but I believed that he was going to do that. The thing is, I didn't know that he was going to go in and whip his nuts all across the place. I didn't know we would be at 104% tariffs. I thought it was going to be strategic. I thought it was going to be maybe like 20%, or I'm sorry, like 20 countries, just our biggest trade partners. So, but I didn't understand all the nuance of what they were trying to accomplish. It wasn't that he was a liar. He very much told the truth, Andy. You just have to believe him, right? If anything, didn't we just learn that? Didn't we just learn that this administration, when they say they're going to do something, it's probably what they're going to do? And there might be some cards where they're sneaky, but I'm pretty sure he's not telling people to buy so he can fuck them with some short trade. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Down. All right. I mentioned Walmart. We talked about it. Courtney Reagan is in Dallas at the company's Investor Day and joins us now with some headlines, I'm sure, as well. Courtney.
Yeah, hi, David. So Walmart CEO Doug McMillon did just finish addressing the financial community here in Dallas, the first investor meeting that they've held in 2 years. And right away, he addressed the tariff environment. Take a listen.
While in the short term, we're not immune to some of the effects, we are positioned to play offense. Nothing about the current environment impacts our confidence in our business or our strategy.
Love that.
The changes we're making add even more strength and flexibility for our future. We're focused on the strategy we're implementing, and I hope you'll focus on that during our presentations.
Listen to that, guys. Does he sound as cool as a cucumber? Yeah, Trump, be cool. This is a great time to buy. Exactly.
Back to the short term. But this multi-year plan has the ability.
Again, Walmart, guys, Walmart is the buyer. They can mandate their terms. He's telling you the same thing Trump is telling you.
To create a lot of shareholder value.
And then McMillon also said, I wouldn't change places with anybody. He said that twice, and then he moved into
I figured you were probably saying that.
The more normal.
You are one of the more sane people in the chat.
Course of what you'd expect from an investor day, from Walmart's broader purpose, and then glimpses into the future. Now, see if
real quickly, sorry. So somebody was asking again. I said this a second ago, but I've got 304,000 in MSTX right now. I've got in TSLL, I only have 81,000, but I do have about 380,000 in Tesla stock too. So I'm not too levered in on Tesla. I'm way more levered in on the Bitcoin stuff because that's the thing I have the highest conviction at these levels. Tesla could still feel some pain. Maybe there's some kind of attack against Tesla to try and convince Elon Musk to get it to where Trump lowers tariffs. I don't know. So I'm still not going leveraged on that one too much.
CFO John David Rainey was speaking when I left the room here, and he followed McMillon saying, quote, there is nothing that changes our view on our ability to deliver this framework over the coming year. So Walmart is markedly positive here this morning. Ahead of the presentations, it put out a release saying it expects first quarter sales growth to continue to be in line with that 3 to 4% growth outlook. And annual sales and operating income guidance remains unchanged. However, it does note, quote, the range of outcomes for Q1 operating income growth has widened due to a less favorable category mix, higher casualty claims expense, and the desire to maintain flexibility to invest in price as tariffs are implemented. But shares of Walmart, as you guys have said, higher now by about 2.6%. They have been as high as about 4% so far in just the opening moments of trade. And we've got a lot more presentations to go. So we will continue to bring you all the latest news.
No problem, Value Maxi.
Courtney, thank you.
Oh, I should check my account.
Especially when they get some questions, of course.
It's rather extraordinary to have a level of confidence from the largest retailer.
It is.
And Doug.
Yeah. Does that escape anybody here in chat? The largest retailer in the United States of America just told you, we're good, bro.
McMillon should be applauded.
Does that escape anybody?
Well, as he said, they have navigated the period after 9/11, the financial crisis,
Here
COVID.
they are. Right. They're going toe to toe.
That does give you confidence that whatever's coming your way, we can figure it out.
And I have similar confidence with Costco, and I have similar confidence with Amazon. And those are the three major retailers. Now, these are nation states in themselves, and they have
They
power.
are, literally.
They have pricing power, and they can make look, the Chinese right now, here's what they're saying.
Yep.
Wow, we gotta, we can't go up against Walmart.
No,
we can't.
I want to come back. I don't typically do this, and I
What are you
know at
doing?
the top of the 10, Sarah's going to spend time on it if I know her. In
Where you
terms
going?
of the 10 year.
Treasuries?
I'm going back
Dollar?
to treasuries. This basis trade, because I'm getting a lot of different notes about this, showing signs of stress. Now, the basis trade is a way for hedge funds to bet on the difference in price between the cash, treasuries, and the futures, and then you lever that up, and it's a
CNBC's been rooting for a downfall in the U.S. all morning, and they're not getting it, so they're going to try really hard.
very small spread, so you lever it up substantially. What's been happening of late is you get market turmoil, you get so the trade can upend, and then it's forced
Hood's a
the
good buy
investors
today
to
too,
obviously,
guys. I don't know about the options,
get out
but
and
the stock
repay
is.
the leverage, repay the loans.
SoFi.
That's a lot of what people are talking about this morning, Jim.
If you
in
don't
terms
like
of why
leverage.
We've seen this added move.
Nvidia's a good buy if you don't like
maybe
leverage.
it's playing itself out, and that's why you get this talk about, well, will the Fed
Hems
have to
could
do
be a good
something?
buy.
Right now,
I don't know what their
there's enough
distribution
liquidity,
chain
is
looks
my
like, though.
understanding, and Steve Lee's been confirmed that as well.
Right, but once again, I mean, you got to deal with the reality of the price you look at, and the 10 years 4.
Exactly, Andy. What would Trump's legacy be if he told you to buy it, everything crashed another 30%? Trump rewards people that listen. He's just like Elon Musk, who yesterday told you not to panic.
3.5, and we can be all
the
crazy
30 year?
about it, but
He literally said
but
that.
you know what we have
Don't
to
panic.
say is, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? What is the big deal?
Heading
And-
into a recession, one would anticipate rates would have moved significantly lower.
But
By the way, have you looked at oil?
Well, oil is
Okay, as a reflection of an expectation of demand.
That's true. It's just
oil. So I would expect that would be the case with the 10-year, that it would be trading as it did briefly, well below 4. Not well, but below 4. Look at crude.
But you're dealing with a piece of paper that is owned heavily by the Japanese and by the Chinese.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and you're offering that paper today, and the Fed is not going to be buying, I mean, that's just a lousy piece of paper.
By the way, that's
a lousy piece of paper.
That's a 4-year low on
No, I couldn't
on
get it.
WTI.
They should be filling that.
My hope today was that the market plummeted right at the beginning of the day. But I could already tell right away at the beginning of the day that that wasn't going to be happening. So I was hopeful that we still would get some kind of drop after we heard about the Chinese tariffs, even though I knew that it was bullshit and it didn't matter. But it didn't. And then I was hoping that with the EU tariffs, people would be retarded and they would think that those mattered. But they didn't. And so I fear I might not get into my NVIDIA trade because I'm making too much money today.
On crude, at
What
least.
a great time to fill the
it was down.
petroleum reserve.
It was down about 18. It was down 18.7% coming into this morning's session, and you can see, adding to those losses, we're now talking at least a 20+% loss.
I'm sure the president
decline.
will be crowing that you worry about inflation.
And that is a
this is
4-year
something
low. So
everybody pays.
you want a bright spot? Prices at the pump are coming down.
Right. And it's for real.
I can no longer.
And we're increasing our coal production. We're building out our steel plants. We're working across every sector of our economy to make things better. We've got trillions of dollars of dedicated funds that are going to come in to build out our manufacturing sector, and that's before all the winning that we're going to be doing across these tariffs and all the announcements being made about contracts getting signed and countries racing. We've got people queuing up to get in line to remove the pressure because they know the second they do, their trade will explode because people might start looking at them and being like, well, these guys were willing to work with the U.S., and so we should reroute to them because we don't know if our normal suppliers are going to be able to hook us up. Let's get rid of this China shit. Let's work with them. So that's what's happening right now.
Say there's a bright spot any longer about mortgage rates coming down.
No, they're not going where they're going to, but when stock prices go down, housing prices.
Yeah, hedging's really important. I really wish I would have done the credit default swap. It's something that I've done just a cursory glance of knowledge on, but that should have been my play. I feel dumb. Chamath even said it. He said it in the All In podcast. I should have fucking taken the time to research it. I will next time. The next time I'm ready to hedge, I'll be doing it when I think the world is coming to an end or I'm worried about a war-like scenario. Those credit default swaps are going to definitely be my game.
Prices have gone up, but transactions dry up. That's why you're seeing a lot of the home-related retailers not do well today. But I do take solace in that oil going down it is very good for our country.
Agreed.
It's just good. Natural gas would be better to go down. It's not, because we want our natural gas to trade lower. We can be a great exporter. What are you hearing about data centers?
I'm hearing things.
It's not necessarily bullish. Usually when they're doing that, they're doing it as a reaction because something broke. But if you look at the Silicon Valley Bank disaster, that was a great time to buy because the Fed stepped in and they fixed it, right? And then they basically guaranteed that from here on forward, we will guarantee, irregardless of FDIC limits, we will guarantee the funds in every bank account because that's what they did. So they set that precedent. And once you set a precedent, unless you completely remove it, and why would you remove it? You want people to believe in your capital markets and that they can invest money into the banking system and not have to worry about it disappearing one night because the bank didn't do a good job managing their bond-related risk. So bonds are dropping? Yeah, a little bit. We got 4.361. We'll take it, right? We'll take it. But yeah, so times like this where there's stress, the Fed will come in and fix it. And here's the thing, then nothing breaks. There's very little reaction. You don't have a lot to worry about, or maybe something breaks, but the Fed takes care of it. And then with rates coming down, that's good. In the spring and into the summer, we want to open up the housing market so we can bring back 80% of the normal real estate sales. Are there any realtors in here? How bad have you guys been feeling since the end of 2021? Has it been fun to be a realtor in 2022, 2023, 2024, and now? Are you guys even doing it anymore? Maybe you have your license, but you just fucking got a day job because it's such shit. But that's getting ready to open up in a big way. And so you'll see that as these rates come down, it will be beneficial. And again, the Treasury Secretary already talked about modifying the supplemental leverage ratio, which helps banking side, which should start to open up, not only drop, maybe 50 bips. He said like 30 to 70. We're just going to call it 50 because I think that's the right number anyway. But if it, not only would you see a drop in the bond rates, like on the 10-year of 50 bips, but you would also see lending markets open up. I told you guys anecdotally, I take credit card debt usually to pay my taxes, right? So I'll borrow $100,000, sometimes $200,000 in 0% credit card debt for 18 to 21 months, pay my tax bill using debt so that I don't have to cash out any of my investments, right? Now I got income too. That's the first time in like four years that I've had that. So it's a little bit different now. But I tried that again. I've done that for like the last 13 years. And I tried that again. And for the first time ever with an average score between 825 and 840, I couldn't get credit card offers for balance transfers. And they had like 4 or 5 reasons. So the banking sector is tightened credit immensely on some of these things that they don't want to get screwed on. Well, if they fix all these problems, like the supplemental leverage ratio, if they adjust this stuff, the banks are going to feel better about lending, especially if they can see the vision that Trump has put forth and they can see that it's working. And so you'll see credit markets start to open up. You'll start to see more IPOs. We started to see those. We want to see more of those. You want to see the markets being like, holy shit, we have a future, right? You want to see that. And we're seeing that. You know how I know we're seeing that? I look at MSTR and I see it, right? I look over here. I look at this chart. I look at this perfect bounce we did off the 200 moving average on the daily time frame. I look at the fact that we're hitting back up here against what should have been the support line. And if we look at it on like a 3-day candle, it hasn't printed yet. So, or I should say this, let's look at it a weekly. It hasn't printed yet. So theoretically, we could still print up here, and on the weekly time frame, it will have always been support. And so this is very good from a technical standpoint that we're getting above the 200 moving average and holding it up 7.5% right now on MSTR. So I put $400,000 to work this morning, and at least on MSTX, I'm up 15% right now today. And it looks like it's getting ready to break out. So feeling pretty good about that. Is the oil bottom as well? No, oil can still bottom. It could still go further. Because what are we hearing? We're hearing that we're going to be producing a ton of oil. We're going to be producing a ton of gas. We're going to be producing nuclear reactors. We're going to double our energy outputs very soon because we have to. We have to grow quicker than China. It's almost like Jesse knows what he's doing. Hey, wow. Novel fucking concept. Hey, can somebody tell me, Kevin, that? If you guys see him, can you tell him I know what I'm fucking doing? And if he wants some advice, I'll for $2,300, I will give him a course of just my YouTube videos that he could get for free. So you guys pass that on, okay? All right. Anyway, I'm liking what I'm seeing today, guys. This is a good start to the day. It might not be a perfect start to the day, but it's a pretty darn good one. Tesla's up 5.28% right now. Sitting pretty good. Sol Strategy's down, perhaps now time to buy. Yeah, that might be. It's down 4.4%. It just all depends on what happens with Solana. Solana, though, if you look at Solana, I mean, let's just look at this. Solana, look at that, guys. Just like the perfect bounce. It's like the perfect bounce. Look at this. Got down, touched it. I put the little green blob here. What are we doing? We're getting back up. Oh, I do have to adjust this, though, because this is a fib extension. And that just changed, obviously. And I haven't sold my Solana yet. I might not. Not going to lie. Might not do it. Why? Because this thing, I believe, as crazy as this fucking sounds, I think Solana, if we really become risk on, I see a 559% increase in this bitch. That's why. I see a 559% increase. And here from the high, guys, where we were a year ago, that's only like 140% more. V-shape. V-shape, Anthony. V-shape. V-shape. That's what we're doing. Sorry, I'm in such a good mood. You know what? B for Victory, yes, sir. B for Vendetta, too. Isn't that fun? That was a good movie. Actually, it was kind of like weird anarchy movie. But I saw it when I was much younger, so. Can we look at Mara, please? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should look at some of these. I might go in a bit, though, just because I've been here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, Mara. So Mara did what happens sometimes, right? You had the massive drop, goes underneath the support zone before it ends up going higher. And so Mara went down 71% plus, and now it's back up here. And these are going to, again, they don't move first. MicroStrategy moves first. But these have really been butchered. So as soon as the options won't necessarily go up really quickly too. The options will go up later. I still believe strongly that we could have a move to the 30s and 40s. I don't know about the 80. The 80 is kind of like, holy crap, Bitcoin's really getting embraced. The world's getting weird. China's in on it now too. Russia's in on it. Everybody's like openly fighting with each other. Then I think we get in the 80s and I get a lot of money. More anti-tyranny. Great movie. Everybody loves a good V. Daniel, TLT, do you think it's dead? Couldn't sell, down a lot. I don't know, man. I don't know. So here's the worry I have right now. It's the psychology of what I talked about yesterday in my post. And I'm sorry I wasn't available. I had other things going on. But it's the psychology of what I talked about in my post. It's that people might not buy this because they're worried that China will dump on it. That's some psychology we didn't have before. Also, people weren't talking about it. I wasn't talking about it. I didn't really even think about it, about hedge funds potentially having to unwind and having this get all fucked up if they do. So it really removes that risk off narrative substantially. Don't you think? And then this, I can't even call this like inverse head and shoulder right now. I can't even call this an inverse head and shoulder because the shoulder's too low. Oh, God, I'm not even looking at it on the screen. Retarded. Okay, over here. So I can't, looking at this left shoulder, looking at the head, the right shoulder is just blown out, dude. It's just blown out. There is no right shoulder. So this gets a little scarier because I don't know where it goes from here. So like I said yesterday, it's not as high of a conviction bet. And once I learned that China could be dumping or hedge funds could be causing problems, I just got the fuck out yesterday morning, bright and early. Thanks. Appreciate you, bro. Anytime, Banshee. I prefer The Matrix, says JT. Yeah, it's a great one. It is a good one. Did I miss your comments on data on the U.S. this morning? I don't know. I did show some. I think it's all really good. I think it's all, I showed some. It's all really good. The main things that I showed, and you mean economic data. There is none. That's probably what you mean. There really is none. So it's just all inventories. We did have wholesale. Let me see. Has that come up? I don't know that this matters either, but it's 0.3%, perfectly in line. And then we have the FOMC this afternoon. I might actually participate in that, guys. How much cash do you have? Zero. I put $400,000 in. Actually, maybe more. At least 400. IBIT calls. Yeah, we could do it real quick. I'm gonna have to piss again though, so gotta move fast. All right. So I don't know all the IBIT targets, so you'll have to tell me. I mean, IBIT, let's just assume that Bitcoin can go up 50% from here. Or let's say double. Let's say double, and let's go out a ways. Let's say November 21st. January might be better. We're currently at $44. We think it can double, but we don't want to go too far. So let's do like, I'm going to probably stick with like 70s. I'm going to stick with 70s because I don't want to be too crazy. That's $237,000. So this thing can give you 287 off a 63% move and IBIT, which again, it could double, right? So pretty easily, it could double. So if you believe that, and you believe it could double from here, that gets you like into the 80s. That would get us around Bitcoin 160 something, right? What are we at right now? Yeah, almost 160. So that's a 700% increase off of 100. So look, you could pause this and look at it later, but that's not a horrible number by any means, I don't think. So if Bitcoin gets to 150, 160, you're looking at 646% increase off of a 90% move or something. If it does it in a decent amount of time, again, it gets a little bit less if you go all the way out to November. Double bottom on Bitcoin on the 4 hour. Yeah, maybe. Either way, it just doesn't matter. Because if you look over here, guys, real quickly, here's the thing that matters for Bitcoin, okay? This is the only thing that matters for Bitcoin, is that we have the monthly time frame that looks like a rounding bottom that wants to V-shape up and go up to the 147,000 range, which is, again, about 80, almost 90% higher than where we are today. That's what matters. This is the number that matters, guys. So I don't know. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I think there's good opportunity here. I hope you guys all make a bunch of money. And I think I'm gonna call it here, yo. I'm gonna call it here. But I do want to go back. And we're gonna go back with this one because it's the best. This is Trump right now to the rest of the world, and he is winning. Peace out, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Because we kill him.
This is the last Grossman. Who is this?
This is Flaming Dragon!
Okay, Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will fuck you up!